What is good, everybody? So it is that time of the month. It is the time for gacha PvP. It is the 1st of October, which means the Sensor Tower report for iOS market mobile gacha game revenue for September has indeed been released. And I'll be real, okay? I don't really give much of a damn about most of what's on this list. And I'll be real, I don't place much stock into these revenue reports on the whole because it is like a small part. Well, it's not a small part, it's just one part of a bigger whole when it comes to analytics and revenue for these gacha games. But I think it can give us kind of an insight into where the market sentiment is going. But again, nothing here is absolutely conclusive. I'll be real, I don't care about most of the games lower down on this list. I'll be totally honest with you. But what I am interested in showing is Wuthering Waves. Their revenue has basically decreased in mobile markets by half, and I don't think anyone is particularly surprised by this. I'm not sure if the revenue also includes the first couple of days of Shorekeeper. I doubt it. I think this is just going to be the whole 1.2 patch, and of course we had Shangli Yao and Jeji. Of course, if you release a free character, I really doubt that that's going to be good for a game's overall revenue, but it can be good for getting people re-engaged in coming back to the game. Rather than looking at the revenue report from Wuthering Waves, I'd actually be more curious to see like player retention, how many players actually came back to the game during this month because of a free character and how many people stayed. So this is a good example of why like a lower revenue might not be indicative of like a success of a game, because Shangli Yao was free. I'm way more interested to see the actual player statistics for Wuthering Waves than I am for revenue. Reverse 1999 like doubled in revenue this month. I've seen quite a few people talk about Reverse 1999 this month, and I'm curious myself kind of what it's all about. I mean, doubling your revenue in 1 month is insane. Like, that is insane. And I was there an anniversary? Was there something happening? I feel like I need to know because this is kind of cool, and I've seen multiple people talk about it, so maybe it's something I will look into at some point. Also kind of similar for further down on the list, Limbus Company, they tripled in revenue. I think it's important to note, like, games when they like double, triple their revenue, it's important to be like, what's going on here? Like, what changed? What made them, you know, do better this month than other months? And this is another game where I've seen people talk about this past month. So maybe Reverse 1999 and Limbus Company is something that I will check out just to see what the hell is going on. We see also something similar with Azure Lane. They have doubled their revenue also. Again, I've not really seen anyone talk about Azure Lane specifically, but maybe there was an event, an anniversary, I don't know, something that released that clearly people were very, very interesting in looking into. And now we get to the bigger hitters, okay? Of course, Dragon Ball. And now we get into the bigger hitters. Of course, Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle is always pretty high up on the revenue charts. Again, sitting around the 30 mil mark, so they're being consistent, people are engaged, and people are still, you know, participating in this gacha. What really interests me is Zenless Zone Zero. I don't know about you, but I kind of expected Zenless Zone Zero to have far more than what it did the previous month, because so many people was simping after Jane Doe. Jane Doe was such a huge character for Zenless, and they had the release of 1.2. Like, I'm really surprised this is not higher. So what that speaks to me is the player base smaller than the previous months? That's probably a factor to it. A smaller player base, but people spending more would sort of even out the revenue in this case. Again, this is another game where having revenue and like player retention and player base size, like comparatively side by side, would be so interesting, and it would provide so much more like depth to these answers than something like this. Because 34 million for like the Jane Doe release, that really genuinely surprised me. Like, Jane Doe has been their standout character since their release, and I'm just shocked that this isn't higher. So to me, this kind of signifies that there is a lower player base now for Zenless Zone Zero, which is fine. You know, it's still finding its feet. It's like, it's still new. It's been a couple of months. It's finding its feet, and maybe 1.2 didn't resonate as much with players, and that's okay. You know what I mean? That's totally fine. Maybe we'll see what happens next month. I don't know if a character like Caesar is gonna be boosting their numbers like crazy, but I really expected Jane Doe to be like their shining star, and they're a huge hitter for them. But maybe Zenless Zone Zero doesn't have a big of a player base as we first thought. AFK Journey went from 71 mil down to 34. Now, I'm not surprised about this because they released more servers last month for AFK Journey. Of course, AFK Journey was #1 in the revenue charts, and now they've moved down 3 spaces. But this is still a ridiculous amount of money. Of course, we didn't expect them to stay this high, but 34 million is still crazy. So congrats to AFK Journey for still keeping it peak apparently within the community. I might have to try it out for myself. You know, I feel like it's a gacha that kind of speaks to me, one that I can still progress in even though I don't play it every day. Because as you all know, I'm terrible at keeping up with dailies and weeklies, you know what I mean? So here's another one that really surprised me. Genshin Impact. We had the release of Natlan and Molani, and they haven't, again, kind of like Zenless Zone Zero, they haven't really exploded in revenue. It's kind of stayed the same, which has surprised me. Maybe people are waiting for like the Archon to come out or a cooler character to be released. Maybe the characters aren't resonating as people with much. Again, might be the case where the player base isn't as big as it used to be for Genshin anymore. We have so many more gachas and the player bases are like so spread out, way more than ever. Like Genshin no longer really has the monopoly on gacha anymore, and it's super interesting to see with like 5 new gachas that have like come out this year. It's kind of no surprise that we're not seeing their new big patches every year sort of hit as hard as they used to. So again, I'm surprised that this is a 45 mil. Genshin Impact is a game that's quite popular on mobile too, but I wouldn't be surprised to see like how mobile versus like PC and combined would differ to this. I think this would be one of the ones that would stand out the most between mobile and, you know, everything else. But I am surprised. I am surprised that Natlan hasn't performed considerably better than it did for revenue last month. I am surprised. And finally, we have our top 2 games. And of course, I have a lot to say. Okay, let me start with Honkai Star Rail, okay? Fei Xiao is an incredible release, okay? Fei Xiao was a character that so many people were so looking forward to, but also the quad banner hit, okay? We had Fei Xiao, you could get Robin, you could get Black Swan, you could get Kafka, you can get all their light cones. There were so many things for people to pull on last month that I am not surprised whatsoever that they've managed to rake in this much revenue. You had Fei Xiao, you had a bunch of other characters that you could get. Robin, which people were pulling for because Robin was really good with Fei Xiao. All of that together, I'm not surprised in the slightest that Honkai Star Rail topped the mobile charts. And of course, Honkai Star Rail is just a really good gacha to play on mobile. So this is not surprising to me whatsoever. And I fully expected this to be the case, given how much pulling power that whole banner had. That saying, I doubt we will see this for the next month still. But this is still huge, and congrats to Honkai Star Rail for absolutely killing it in the huge multi-banner. And speaking of multi-banners, Love in Deepspace, $62 million dollars. I did not expect Love in Deepspace to make 10 more mil than last month. I'll be so real, I thought they would make less because Misty Invasion was like the peak. It was the peak like spice that the game had to offer so far, and I thought, okay, they're not going to top this for a while. They're not going to top it for a while. And then we've had Zane's birthday, we had Raphael's Into the Canvas card, and we just had like a week ago the Wonder in Wonder banner, another quad banner. And I did not expect for it to perform this well. I think the like the 3 banners combined for September is the reason why this is done so well. I would love to know how much of this revenue was the Wonder and Wonder banner, because again, this game pumping out a quad banner every single month is crazy. So you can indeed be pulling for 4 different 5-star memories every month guaranteed. They've done it every month for the last 3 months at this point. So I feel if they keep doing that, if they keep releasing quad banners, they're going to be seeing insane revenue. And people have been complaining recently that they're getting a little bit greedy with their monetization strategies. Outfits, accessories, the frequency of these banners. People are starting to be like, I don't know if our pockets are deep enough to keep pulling for this. But it seems that's not deterring people at all, because people are still spending and people are still pulling. So you know what that means to the devs, right? They're gonna keep doing what they're doing. If they've like increased their revenue by 10 mil, you know they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing. And I can say with confidence, we will be getting quad banners basically every month after, like, at this point, or at least every other month, because there's no way they're not going to, right? The amount of money Love and Deepspace is making is crazy, and I feel we should use that to also say, hey, listen, you're making a lot of fucking money from this game. How about we like improve the quality in some areas? How about we maybe improve some of the combat? Maybe we improve Abyssal Chaos, give us something new. You know what I mean? Like, give us some more like weeklies to do that aren't, you know, claw machine and kitty cards. Like, give us some more events and things to do in the meantime. And I think people will be a lot happier and a lot more satisfied. I mean, they have the revenue now. They have the revenue, and I feel like the community is in that kind of right to be like, listen, whatever you release, people are gonna get at this point. Whatever you do, people are gonna get. So I think it's fine to start, you know, saying, hey, let's think about what direction we're taking in. But I'm very happy Love and Deepspace is doing so well. Of course, it's a mobile only game, really, so I'm not surprised the revenue is higher than the others anyway. But again, as the renowned Love and Deepspace husbando shill, this is great for me to see. I'm so happy that they're still performing really well, despite not releasing spicy, ridiculous spicy cards. Wonder and Wonder was actually quite tame, and it was more romance heavy than it was spice heavy. So I'm glad even that is enough for people to keep pulling. And the game, surprise to what people might say, the game isn't all about spice. I actually think it's far less spicy than a game like Snowbreak. Like, where's Snowbreak on here? Yeah, Snowbreak is going the full Guna route, like way more than Love and Deepspace like ever has been. And they're still able to manage to perform. So this is the power of the Otome girlies. This is the pulling power of women. Okay, this is the pulling power of women, and it's so good to see. So I appreciate y'all. Remember to like this video, give it a thumbs up, and comment down below what you think, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.